Now the speakers? Now the speakers. Our undergraduate student speaker this year is Angela Smith. Angela Smith was born and raised in Missouri. She transferred from a California community college in 2015 and is graduating with a BA in psychology with honors. During the last 3 years, Angela has conducted research with the Stanford Psychophysiology Lab, taught as a Psych 1 teaching fellow, and mentored future psychology majors via the SUPA sibling program and as a transfer program assistant. Working with Professor James Gross and PhD candidate Daniel O'Leary, Angela completed an honors project in which she explored the influence of negative emotions on dietary choice. Having worked in both the political and nonprofit sectors before attending Stanford, Angela deeply loves the field of psychology for the way that, in the words of psychology emeritus Professor Al Bandura, well-founded psychological theory provides solutions to human problems. Next fall, Angela will be studying emotions and emotion regulation at the University of Toronto, pursuing a doctoral degree in the field of social, personality, and abnormal psychology. To invite Angela to the stage.
So in the words of Sterling K. Brown, I am here to under-promise and over-deliver. Also, really quickly, where's my transfers in the house? Okay, so with that said, it is a great honor to be standing here in front of you today. A week ago, I found out that I was the speaker for the Psychology Commencement program. I was, as you might imagine, feeling some measure of stress and anxiety. Now, as anyone who has taken a class with Professor Leah Crum knows, experiencing stress can actually be beneficial. However, in an attempt to reduce the anxiety portion of this, my friends have been telling me that I will do a great job, that whatever I say will be amazing. So, you know, there's literally no pressure there to do anything wonderful with this speech. So much like our esteemed commencement speaker earlier, I was actually very stuck on what to say. So in true Silicon Valley fashion, I actually crowdsourced my speech. I asked fellow psych majors to let me know what would make this speech meaningful and important to them. And one of the suggestions that greatly stood out to me was acknowledge our roots. Acknowledge our roots. That's something I can easily do because the roots of psychology run deep here at Stanford. This department was the entire reason that I transferred here because I've always been impressed how the psychology department here at Stanford makes such a disproportionately large impact on the field. We're not the largest psychology department, but we are one of the most influential psychology departments in existence today. As students, we walk through the halls where legends of the field walked, many of whom are still walking through them today. Stanford's psychology department affects the paradigms in which we understand human behavior and in which we are able to change the zeitgeist of current debates. However, I think my friend was going for something deeper than the roots of psychology here at Stanford. I believe that there is a way that the world has to make us less authentic. You know, either the external factors or that critical voice inside that tells us to hide behind a mask that's appropriate for a Stanford student. What we have to hide varies. For some, it might be what emotions they're experiencing, what their mental health status is at that time. It might be where or how they grew up. It might be who they truly love or who they truly are deep down inside. For myself, it was the identity of being poor. As I was preparing to transfer from my community college, an academic counselor there told me not to waste my time applying to Stanford, that I would never get in. The identity threat that I felt at that time was strong. He was aware that I had graduated over a decade prior from a tiny school in rural Missouri, and that for the first time in my early 30s, I was attending higher education. My family was significantly lower income, but attending Stanford was a dream of mine that I had always held on to. Through hard work, through dedication, and through being mistaken for the proctor when I finally took my SAT, I was accepted into Stanford. When I received my welcome letter, I, like all of you, was immensely elated. However, this was followed by more of that anxiety. How could someone like me ever expect to fit in here with all of those amazing young smiling faces jumping in fountains on the welcome brochure? I didn't want another advisor judging my ability based solely on my identity of who I was. However, as I've come to discover, like so many of us sitting here today, I chose to fit in by hiding my roots, never thinking that there might be something that would provide me strength. I had the opportunity this spring to take a class taught by Professor Steele on the psychology of scarcity and poverty. It was a stirring reminder of how one's identity can be both a negative and a positive asset. Reflecting back, I was surprised by the inspiration and insight that my experiences lent me in both research, teaching, and mentoring. This holds very true for so many of you as well. Some of the most impactful research from the honors cohort this year came from individuals who chose to acknowledge their roots in various ways, be it through ethnicity or culture, food or family, military or mental health. It is through our roots, through acknowledging the authenticity of our experiences, painful and joyous and everything in between, that we have the strength and the inspiration to use what we've learned here at Stanford to shape the world, making it a bit better in so many ways, both large and small. Some of you may already have an idea of what you're going to do, be it academia, nonprofit, tech, or business. Others don't, but I promise the inspiration will come, that it will blossom into something that will improve lives, that will make you and all those around you proud of what you have accomplished. So I challenge you today, acknowledge your roots, whether they go back to childhood or to your first day at Stanford. Be authentic and be powerful in who you are, and you will never be steered off course. I am today and have always been honored to be your fellow classmate. I look forward to all of the amazing accomplishments we will make. Thank you in advance for doing good. Thank you in advance for changing the world. And thank you for being a proud member of the graduating class of 2018.
You sure you want to follow that?